Objection, badgering.
Sustained.
Objection, argumentative. Leading the witness. Ambiguous, privileged, inflammatory.
Sustained.
It's an art that you have to just know, and lawyers know how to do it, and non-lawyers usually don't. Suits.
Driving a cab isn't glamorous, but it's an honest day's work. Ever since I started, I look forward to a time when I could tell customers that they were riding in my cab.
So those of you that haven't seen this show, the show is called Suits, and it's pretty good. But this particular case is about a car accident, and there is a dispute as to who caused the car accident. So the person that you see right now is a cab driver, and he's representing himself against a limo driver who was driving an attorney around. So those are the background facts.
Was an owner-operator. So I scrimped and I saved until I finally had enough put away to buy a medallion. But because of the actions of these men, I've lost that opportunity.
What you need to know here is he was on his way to get his medallion so that he could be his own operator of his own cab. And he had to be there at a certain time in order to get this thing approved. I guess they're very hard to get in New York City. So the accident caused a delay, and he's claiming that he suffered some serious losses because he wasn't able to get his medallion.
So make no mistake, this trial is not about a busted headlight. This is a trial about a broken dream.
Forget the case, they're gonna make him president.
Statements are like free throws. Easy. Nobody's playing defense.
Are we good at defense?
You would agree that chauffeur drivers cause more accidents.
Objection, badgering.
Sustained.
Objection, argumentative. Leading the witness. Ambiguous, privileged, inflammatory.
Sustained.
So the defense attorney is Harvey, and he's in the show. He's a real sharp, kind of arrogant attorney. And what he's doing here is he's taking advantage of the fact that the plaintiff, the taxi driver, isn't a lawyer. And so when you're not a trained lawyer, you don't know how to ask the questions the right way, because there are some certain rules about how you can ask questions of each type of witness. And Harvey knows that. So what he's doing to disrupt the flow of the testimony here is he's just objecting to every single question he can. And he's winning those objections because the other guy doesn't know how to ask the questions the right way. It's an art that you have to just know, and lawyers know how to do it, and non-lawyers usually don't.
Anything further, Mr. Santana?
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to call to the stand Mr. Michael Ross, please. What time had you called for the limo on the morning of the accident?
We were supposed to leave at 8:30.
And what time did you get to work?
Objection, irrelevant.
It's highly relevant, Your Honor. It speaks to the psychology of the driver, Rahim Benghazi.
Overruled. Answer Mr. Santana's question.
8:40.
So unless Mr. Benghazi made up for that lost time, you were going to be late for that meeting, correct?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
When the accident occurred, you were on your way to the medallion auction. When and where was this auction to take place?
9 a.m. City Hall.
According to the police report, the accident occurred at 8:53 a.m. That means you only had 7 minutes to get downtown in rush hour traffic.
Objection, irrelevant.
I believe when I made the same objection, you told His Honor it was highly relevant.
Overruled.
You were running late, only the stakes for you were much higher, weren't they?
These things never start on time.
Then why was the first medallion sold at 9:03 a.m.? You were scared your chance at a medallion was going up in smoke, and you ran a red. Then you used the accident to paint me and Ray Benghazi as a couple of scapegoats.
You can't prove that.
What color was the light?
I take the fifth.
You can't take the fifth, Mr. Santana. This isn't a criminal case.
So that's an important distinction there that a lot of folks don't realize. When you assert your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, we've all seen that in TV shows and movies, you can only do that when you're facing criminal charges. They're in civil court. Now, he can still try to assert his Fifth Amendment rights there because he can say that he's not going to incriminate himself. But in civil court, that gives rise to what we call a presumption. Okay, so he can still do it. This is technically kind of incorrect here. He can still assert the Fifth Amendment right if what he's about to say is going to incriminate him. But in civil court, it can be used against him. Basically, the court or the jury can infer that whatever he's refusing to say is true. And so in a criminal court, you can't do that. You can't infer guilt from someone that refuses to answer a question or refuses to testify. That's the criminal standard. But in civil court, if you walk in and you say, well, I'm asserting my Fifth Amendment rights, it's just basically treated as an admission. And he doesn't make that argument here. It's certainly the argument that we would have made.
What color was the light?
He cut me off.
You claim to love our legal system so much. Answer the question. What color was the light? What color was the light? Your Honor?
Answer the question, Mr. Santana.
It just meant so much to me.
So he breaks the witness down. Obviously, the light was red. But here's something that's critically important that you might not have noticed. The only reason Harvey was able to just demolish this witness is because he did a proper investigation. He looked at the police report to see what time it was. He even went to the city hall or whatever it was to figure out when that first medallion was issued, because he knew, maybe he knew this guy was going to say, well, they don't start on time. So he had all of the investigative work done. And he knew he was going to win before he even started. That's the hallmark of a good lawyer. A good lawyer not only knows their case, but they know all the details, they know where to look, and they do that investigative work so that when they have a witness like this on the stand, they know it doesn't matter what he says. They're going to make it out to show that the witness is wrong. And he did that through an investigation, and he knew he was going to be able to do that. So that's good lawyering right there.